Alright, so over the weekend I went back to play a game I used to genuinely enjoy every now and again, way back when it first came out, and that is Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a PvP style game, very arcade feel, has a single player component as well, but it's mainly built for PvP, and it's definitely an interesting experience if you play it nowadays. I am playing on PlayStation, by the way, so in terms of kind of population on other platforms, I'm not too sure, but to be honest, this was on a Saturday night and a Sunday night, and I got full lobbies every single time. Sometimes it was the same group of people, but every now and again it would refill the lobby with completely new players. Some people would be level 100, some people would be like level 3 or 4, and then some people would be like kind of my level as well. It was weird to definitely see the game populated, especially in this year. Nevertheless, I did kind of enjoy my time with it. I can't really play it for like an hour or two without getting bored, because it is kind of like, it's very repetitive. The maps are very good, the gameplay feels quite nice, but there are some pretty weird issues with it. Overall, it is not a good Resident Evil game, because it's nowhere near anything you'd play from the main series. It's a PvP game, and it's very high action, so it's completely different. But it is still enjoyable every now and again, and it is still surprising to see people playing it. So as always with these type of videos, I do kind of want to bring it to light again, kind of go over what I enjoy about the game, and then go over kind of what isn't very good about it. But without any further ado, let's just get into the video. So it goes without saying, it's a PvP game, and these aren't really taken as good games in the RE kind of community. There are a few, obviously, PvP games that have come out over the past few years. We've got this, we've got Resident Evil Resistance, which I think is the most kind of... I think Resistance is probably the one that people prefer over the bunch, and obviously we've got Resident Evil Reverse as well, which is the one that came with Resident Evil Village. And they all play fairly different to each other. You know, you've got Resistance, which is a 4 versus 1 asymmetrical Dead by Daylight-esque type game. You've got Reverse, which is like a free-for-all deathmatch type game, and then you've got this game, which is like a team-based shooter with objective rounds or a one-life mode, and it is interesting to say the least. So the positives of the game, there's a lot of maps variation in this game compared to the other two. Obviously Reverse has like 3 maps total, and Resistance has like a good amount, but this one has a fair amount, and they're all like known locations from the mainline games. You've got a map that's in the village section of RE4, you've got a map set in the shantytown areas of RE5, you've got a Raccoon City Streets map, which I'm playing in the background, you've got a mansion map, and you've got an RPD map. There's a lot of known locations in this game, which I think really does add a bit of charm to it, you know, playing these iconic locations across a whole variation of mainline entries, which is definitely good. In terms of how the game plays, so obviously it's a team-based game, and on the maps there are zombies, and what happens is your player character is invisible to them. They have like this jammer on their back which keeps them hidden. Other players can shoot that jammer and it will break it, and they'll allow the undead on the map to find you and attack you. Other than that, you can kind of just fight each other and just use the zombies as like cover, or just ignore them completely. In terms of your modes, you've got a one life match, which is obviously like your kill the enemy team, once they're all dead you win the round type mode, and you've got multi-mission, which is a consecutive amount of rounds where the objective varies per round. So you've got one where it's like there's a special infected on the map, find it and kill it. You've got one that's just kill the enemy team as much as they can kill you, so a team deathmatch round. You've got a like a capture the area type round, and then you've got like a kill confirmed round where you've got to like kill a certain amount of undead on the map to get their tags basically, and whoever has the most by the end of the timer wins. And that's kind of fun. It does vary from obviously round to round, and the maps do make it feel a little bit fresh every time, but there's only a certain amount of objectives you'll get. Out of the 2 modes, I think the multi-mission one is more populated than the one life one. The game also has this weird issue, well, not really an issue, but it's more of the players that play it. You'll get matches where people just kind of do this. Yeah, that happens quite a lot, especially in the one life mode. You'll kind of like get half the team that just spins in circles and AFKs the whole time. It's very strange. I don't know how people do it, and a lot of people that do it are like level 100, so I don't know if there's like some big AFK farm in this game or not, but either way, it's very strange. But in terms of the actual gameplay itself, outside of other players, the guns feel quite good. There's a variation of guns from, you know, SMGs to assault rifles, and iconic weapons from the mainline series, like the Lightning Hawk is still there as well. And there is a melee weapon as well, but I don't really use it that much unless you're trying to like execute someone, which is pretty fun to do. But other than that, the gameplay feels fine. One thing I didn't really like about it, and still don't now, is your character feels like they're off the screen the entire time. It's like just your gun. It's very strange how the character's just all the way to the left, unless you're like crouching or sprinting. It just doesn't really look right. Also, the zombies on the map, if you do end up having to fight them, especially on certain objectives, they can be quite spongy, some of them. I don't really know why they are, but sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. I don't really understand why that is, but it's just a thing I've noticed. In terms of the players though, to be honest, if you get a full lobby of people playing, it's a mix between people who are just playing it for fun and people who are really sweaty. Like, I was getting lobbies where people clearly had played the game forever. Like, I saw a guy that was like level 120, and he had like, you know, a couple of hundred hours in the game, which is just mad. So there's definitely that kind of thing, where there is still like veteran players that still sit and play it all the time. Again, that's a PlayStation thing. Don't know if it's going to be the same across Xbox and PC. Don't know how popular the game is on different platforms, but from my experience on a PlayStation platform, there is quite a healthy-ish amount of players still playing the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's still there. The servers are still up. It's still playable. It's a bit janky, but I think that's kind of part of the charm of it. To be honest, it's more of an arcade shooter than a realistic kind of very tactical shooter. It's just something you can mess around in like an hour every now and again. It's usually like on sale like all the time. So if anyone's ever interested, it usually goes for like £5 every time I've seemed to notice it be on sale. It's really cheap, so that's good at least. But it's not going to blow you away. It's not like the most fun thing at times. It does get very boring very quickly if you're kind of not a big fan of PvP. And there are also times in the day or at night, or usually in the week probably, when the game is just completely dead and you can't find lobbies for a while. So your best bet is to play it like on a weekend or something like that. But it's not the worst thing ever. It obviously isn't good. Like, it isn't a good Resident Evil game, but it is fun to play like every so often. Same as the other two really. Like, Resistance and Reverse aren't bad. I don't think they're terrible by any means, but it's not something you would play, you know, like on repeat for hours on end, because it would just get boring over time. But there's something you can play for like half an hour every now and again just to kill some time, because it is fun for a period of time that is gonna like kill like an afternoon or something like that. But that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. If you're still playing it, you know, let me know. If you are looking to kind of play with people, by all means, use the comments to put your kind of platform and ID down below so people can group up and play. But yeah, thank you all for coming by. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Resident Evil content, and I'll catch you in the next one.